972-361-0606. Yes, you can call their office to get an appointment to see Pallavi and her team. And aluvalialaw.com is their website. This is Your Business Matters with Pallavi Ahluwalia from Ahluwalia Law Offices. So get ready with any question that you have related to employment, family-based immigration matters, family law, corporate law, or civil matters. 972-235-5555 is the number in the studio. Today, let's welcome Pallavi on the airwaves of Fun Asia Radio 104.9 FM. A very good morning to you, Pallavi. How are you?
A very good morning to you, Meetu. Doing very well this rainy Wednesday morning, but back here with Your Business Matters, and glad to be able to answer questions for the community and to interact with them and to be able to provide some news updates from the immigration world.
Wonderful. And we are getting so many calls, so let's start taking calls one by one. We'll request all the callers to keep their question brief so that we can give chance to everybody here today. All right, going to our first caller, Fun Asia Radio. You are live on the air. Go ahead and ask your question.
Hi, this is Swapna. Good morning, Pallavi ma'am.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you for the opportunity. So today I have a quick question regarding my H1B.
Okay,
Here is the scenario. I came to USA on L1B visa. I was here for 4 years. Okay, and then went back to India for 1.4 years.
Okay.
During that time, my company filed H1B.
Okay.
It was approved, and we came back to USA on H1B in the year 2014. Okay.
Uh-huh.
So right now we have to apply for an extension. Okay. So now my company is saying that I have reached the max out and I have to leave the company and I have to go back to India and there is no other option.
That is not correct. So once you came in through a new cap and you had been outside the country for you said a year and a half, right?
1.4 years, yes.
Yes. So
to be precise, like June 5th, 2013, I left to India and I came back to USA on November 1st, 2014.
Yeah, so there is something that is incorrect in this, and you went through the fiscal year 2014 quota. Is that what you went into? So
yes,
basically,
yes,
you started. So let's say in the you started out your H1B. It would have started from October 1st of 2014, which was the fiscal year 2015 quota.
Yes, ma'am.
Correct. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So now you are entitled to a full 6 years, not 1 year. Yes, you're entitled to your full 6 years. So after you finish this term right now, as in whatever the approval is you've been given, at this point you can extend and you can go forward 3 more years.
Okay, another reason they are saying my H1 petition was filed within 365 years, so only I'm not eligible for 6 years on H1B.
No. So if you left June 5th of 2013 and
yes,
you were out, so even if they filed it on, say for example, on April 1st, the job would not have started till October 1st.
Yes,
okay,
yes,
in that case, that year was finished. So the pre-filing option is allowed. There is some confusion there. Perhaps they don't have proper representation or the understanding of the law. I would have you talk to them once more and sort this out, because you are entitled to your 6 years that began from 1st of October. So you have time until 2020.
Oh, okay. So now, shall I schedule an appointment or should I look for any other consultancy? Because they are telling me I have to leave the country within 10 days.
Yeah, that is based on an incorrect understanding, unfortunately. So you may have to talk to them, tell them to consult with an attorney, and they should be able to get the correct advice. Maybe they don't have an attorney on board and they just have somebody in-house who processes the applications. They may not have a proper understanding of this.
Okay, ma'am, then I will schedule an appointment. So I hope we will have some positive things, because really we are depressed. Suddenly it came out.
Yes, that is incorrect.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. Yeah.
All the very best.
Thank you so much.
All the very best to you.
Yeah, bye.
All right, going to our next caller, 972-235-5555, number in the studio. You are live on the air. Go ahead and ask your question to Pallavi.
Hi.
Yes, go ahead.
Thank call. I was applying for U.S. citizenship, and so when I go through the eligibility for N400, one of the question is I have resided in the district or state in which I am applying for citizenship for last 3 months. So I am living in Dallas for last 13-14 years, but I had gone to India for few weeks and came back in December, this last December. So my question is, do I need to wait for 3 months to be over before I apply for U.S. citizenship, or can I do it now?
No, you can do it now. So just a small vacation that takes you out does not change the district in which you were living. So basically that is not departing from your residence, that's just taking a vacation, and you should be all right to be able to apply it right now. You're eligible.
Got it. Okay. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for your call. Moving on to our next caller, Fun Asia Radio. You are live on the air. Go ahead and ask your question to Pallavi.
Hello ma'am, good morning. Thanks for taking my call. I have a question regarding my L2 status. Actually, I came to US on L2 visa, and with EAD I started working. And this year, on Jan 6th, my H1B got approved.
Okay.
So, what is my current status? Because actually my employer who filed my H1B, they want me to go to California and work, but due to my family reasons, I cannot relocate. And I won't be working for my employer. So now I got a new job here, and next week I will be joining the new company. So what is my current status, or on which status I should be joining the new company, ma'am?
Okay, so your approval notice that you have, if it has an I-94 on it, and it is one that was applied for a change of status, then in January your status changed to H1B, which means, so Meetu, I can hear a little bit of disturbance in which I'm not being able to hear it completely. Okay. Let's try and, if you would just hold on, ma'am, just real quick, so that everybody can hear this answer as well, and so can you. Just a second, okay?
Let's move on to this other mic very quickly, and in the meantime, let me quickly share with you the number in the studio, 972-235-5555, and let's see if it is better for you, Pallavi.
Yes, yes, it is. It is definitely better.
Okay, all right.
So I was having some disturbance. I couldn't hear the mic sounding it back to me, so I could see that there was something wrong. Yes, so yes, if your status changed on in January, you are currently on H1B status, and with the employer that had sponsored you for the H1B, and then you are tied to that employment or that project that they had requested in that in the petition, and that would have been the California location that you're talking about. So if you have to change anything with this employer with whom you have the H1B, you have to file an amendment of location. Otherwise, you will not be maintaining status.
Okay, I need to file an amendment. What if I don't want to work for the employer? And can my new employer apply for an change of state? H1B transfer?
Yes, they can. A new employer can transfer you to that company, or you can move to that company for sure. Or if you want to take on your L2 and your EAD again, you'll have to step out, re-enter on the L2, and then apply for your EAD all over again.
So again, I need to apply for EAD?
Yes, because the moment you became an H1B, your L2 status was gone.
Okay. There is no mean that I can just change my status back to L2 and revoke my working with the existing EAD. Yeah,
no, because the day that you got your status changed to an H1, the L was no longer valid. And for you to get back on the L, you have to apply for the L again, which is the L2. You can either step out of the country, go stamping, or go to a contiguous territory, go out and re-enter the country. But when you come back, then you have to apply for the EAD again, because that EAD is no longer valid.
Okay, got it, ma'am.
All right.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for your call. 972-235-5555 is the number in the studio. This is Your Business Matters with Pallavi Ahluwalia from Ahluwalia Law Offices. And if you want to get in touch with them beyond the show, you must take an appointment. 972-361-0606 is their number. ahluwalialaw.com, their website. Going on to our next caller, Phanisha Radio. You are live on the air. Go ahead and ask your question, please.
Hi, ma'am. Thank you for taking call. I have a question. My parents, if they come for green card here, after green card, will they eligible for any medical help from the government?
No, so not immediately. So Medicare is given to citizens, and for Medicaid, which is the something that's given on a need basis, you have to qualify for that in terms of showing that they have no assets or no money, and that has to be a request that has to be made in addition. I believe Texas, if you're in Texas, then we don't have many options here, but I would have you definitely, when you're having your parents come here on a green card, I would definitely have you talk to a benefits attorney and see if you can understand what benefits they're entitled to, because also the sponsorship, the financial sponsorship that you fill out, the 864 does promise that you will not be seeking any federal benefits.
Oh, okay. And one more question. My sister, her passport has only for the first name and no last name. When I am applying for her green card, her application says first name, last name. So should I just put no last name and middle name and just her first name in the application of I-130?
Yes, so if you were to do that, is that how all her documents are, from high school certificates to everything?
No, her high school certificate but has her full name, Tina Kenya. But the only thing is her passport doesn't show her first name and last name.
It may not be a bad idea. Yeah, it may not be a bad idea to amend the passport and to get her full name in there, because USCIS will not input no last name. They will definitely move her first name to her last name, because the way it works here, that they are okay with somebody not having a first name, but they're not okay with anybody not having a last name. So her first name would be moved to her last name, and you're going to just only see more trouble with that. So it may be a better idea that she just applies for a passport amendment and gives the required documents and certificates that are required in India so that she can get that corrected.
So I cannot apply her until that correction has been done in the passport, right?
Yeah, I would say that. Because that may be something, unless, and this amendment may not take too long, just a few months. If you want to wait to just have it all correct, then that's okay.
So her passport has a visa, so she that will also get corrected, everything, even though...
No, the visa won't get corrected. Only the passport, the last name will be added if she's adding it that.
So visa won't affect, right? Even she has a 10 years visa.
Yeah, because that passport that she's going to have, that she amends, she should also have retain that passport, the one that got amended, because she can attach that to her new passport and retain that visa.
Okay. Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you again.
All right. All the best.
Thank you for your call. Moving on to our next caller, Phanisha Radio. You are live on the air. Go ahead and ask your question, please.
Hi. First of all, thank you for taking my question. I just have a quick question. I'm working with the company X currently, and it's a consultancy. They have my visa on their name, H-1B visa, and I recently changed my project. Like 3 months ago, my project got changed, but my attorney did not file the amendment just yet, and my renewal is coming up in April this year. So she said that they will be filing the amendment with the renewal of H-1B, and the situation is that now I want to change my employer, and I want to go to a different employer, but I'm worried about this project change that recently happened. Will my new employer have to notify USCIS about this project change when I transfer my H1B to them?
No.
The new employer?
No, in the transfer application, you don't have to indicate which location you were at when you're transferring. That is not part of the transfer petition. That's number one. Number two, matter of Simeo, that became the law a couple of years back in August of 2015, was very clear that as soon as somebody changes, before they change, they have to file an amendment. So that process was incorrectly done. Now, number two, if you're trying to file an extension at this point, even if you're filing it with this employer, and if you don't change your employer, but you file it with the same employer, then you have to remember that your address, if it's changed to a different state or a different location, everything is what USCIS will look at to make a judgment to see if you were retaining the location that was put into your first petition. So I think a transfer to another employer may be most useful, because that will not bring up anything.
Okay, so USCIS will never get to know that I changed the project, right?
Well,
in that case?
Yeah, I'm not sure about that, because if you were to have somebody even in the next week or two to have a site visit, that would be discovered. So USCIS can find out still, and they do have other means to check it too, even your pay stubs if it has a different address. I mean, there are different ways that they can find out that the amendment wasn't filed, but the chances on a transfer are lower in this discovery as opposed to an extension.
And last question, if since my attorney did not file this amendment, is there a way for me to go ahead and file the amendment now? I mean, is there a penalty for that, or
No, there is not a penalty per se. The only penalty is that they will not allow you to get an I-94. So if discovered, then you fall out of status immediately, and then you would be given an approval notice for the next location without an I-94, which you will have to step out of the country and re-enter. And then when you re-enter, then you would be back in status.
Okay, but it won't get my H1B cancelled or anything of that sort, right?
Yeah, so the repercussions of all of this are far-reaching, of course. If there is an ICE visit and that petition can be revoked, that is an option for the government. We've seen that happen in some circumstances when people come to us and they've not had their amendments filed. But if you're quickly amending under premium processing, putting in a new location, the chances of you getting an approval are pretty high.
Okay. And if like you were saying, if I change the employer, then there is probably no repercussions at all?
No, there may be, but lower chances.
Okay. Well, thank you so much, ma'am.
All the best.
All right. Thank you for your call. Moving on to our next caller, Phanisha Radio. You are live on the air. Go ahead and ask your question.
Hi, this is Renu here. I'm on an H1. My labor is filed. My wife is a Philippine citizen with a birth certificate from Philippines. Can I change my queue while applying for 140 and 485 together?
Yes, that aspect is called cross-chargeability, and yes, you can. So basically, if it is that are you going to be an EB2?
EB2, yes.
Yeah, so EB2 for, let me just quickly look at the February visa bulletin. Yes, it is current for Philippines as well. So for the third category, it is retrogressed to September 1st for Philippines, but September 1st of 2013. But for the second category, it still is current. So yes, you have cross-chargeability based adjustment of status that can be filed for both of you based on her birth certificate.
So she doesn't have to be on an H1, right? She's on H4 currently, and when I file for 140 and 485, I can do it together, right?
Correct. Yes, you can do it together, and yes, she does not have to be on an H1B. She can be on an H4.
Okay. Thank you.
All the best.
Thank you for your call. Moving on, Phanisha Radio. You are live on the air. Go ahead and ask your question, please.
Yes, ma'am. Actually, I was just listening previous caller, and her question was about medical benefits for her parents. And Miss Pallavi said there is benefit attorneys. Is there any benefit attorneys out there especially for that, or you guys do that too?
Yeah, no, there are other attorneys. our firm doesn't practice in the benefits areas of the law, but just look to see and look for reviews for good attorneys in this area that practice benefits law. So, and they will have a good idea as to what benefits can be claimed. But as a word of caution to everybody out there, when you fill out your 864, especially for your parents, you are responsible for the next 40 quarters. So basically,
actually, my parents, they are green card holders since a few years.
Right.
And even my father, he's 65 and he's eligible for Medicare because he's 65 in Texas law. I actually find out.
Okay.
But my question is, my mother, she's not 65, she's 58. When he gets Medicare, my mother also going to get the Medicare, or she's going to deny?
Yes, you'll have to. That's why I said a benefits attorney. You'll have to consult with someone who practices in that area of the law.
Okay, so how can just find Google for benefits attorneys and stuff like that?
Well, yeah, you're welcome to call my office and they can refer you to someone.
Okay, thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you.
And for that purpose, do want to share the number one more time, 972-361-0606 to gather that information from their office and also to take appointments to see Pallavi and her team. 972-361-0606. Going on to our next caller, Phanisha Radio. You're live on the air. Go ahead and ask your question, please. Phanisha Radio, you're live on the air. All right, seems like we have lost that caller. 972-235-5555, number in the studio. Please call us back. Going on to our probably last caller. We'll see about that. All right, you're live on the air. Go ahead and ask your question.
Hi, good afternoon. Thanks for taking my call. I have a question regarding the H1 visa. My H1 was applied in 2012 lottery, and I came to US in 2013, mid of 2013.
Okay.
So I'll be having 6 years from 2013, right? Assuming that I'll have 6 years. So if I go back to India after 5.5 years of my H1 usage,
okay,
and so 6 months is left, and when I'll be able to, like, what are my chances? I mean, like, when I'll be able to come back, if I wanted to come back to utilize that 6 months.
You can come back at any time as long as you'll have to say that you were cap counted once in the past 6 years. That is a requirement to be able to recapture time. So, if the government, in the way they understand the past 6 years, maybe from your current approvals too, and not the day that you got admitted into the cap. So you have some flexibility of a few years to be able to use those 6 months. But of course, if you get your I-140 approved, then you'll have under AC 2133 more years without having to go through the cap.
Okay, if I-140 is approved, and like in case if I stay back in India for 2-3 years, then also I'll have the chance to use the same H1 again?
Correct. So if you have an I-140 approved, then you can use it for 3 years without having to go through the quota.
Sure, madam. Thank you for answering. Actually, like, I heard one of the call also, earlier she had used L1, and after she was in India for 14 months and she had come back, they were saying that L1 was counted. My case also was same. I was on L1 for 11 months and I went back in June. So next year, April, after 9 months, they applied the H1. Okay. But I was in India for 2 years, but still my employer is saying that L1 also will be counted.
Yeah, no, that is incorrect. That is completely... So if you have reset your time by 1 year, then it should not be counted.
I was in India for 23 months. Is there any rule number, by any chance you remember, I can tell my employer?
No, it is that you're entitled to complete 6 years after you've gone through the quota and been outside for 12 months. And that is part of even the form. If you were to look at the form, even that'll give it to you. Neetu says, I'm terribly out of time.
Totally out of time. We are running 10 seconds to go. Thank you so much, Pallavi, for coming in down to the studio.
Thank you so much.